Tonight's red carpet guest is one of the West End Theatre's biggest names. It's Carrie Hope Fletcher. She recently played Cinderella in Andrew Lloyd Webber's production, was Fantine in Les Miserables, and Beth in the War of the Worlds immersive experience. This November, she heads to the Marlowe in Canterbury to be in her first ever pantomime. They're putting on Sleeping Beauty there. I caught up with her for BBC Radio Kent in her dressing room where she was trying on her new costume.
No, I came in this. What are you talking about? I got up this morning, put this on and came to work.
Well, you made such an effort for me.
Yeah, I'm looking quite villainous at the moment.
Now, this is a debut in pantomime for you. You've trod the boards, you've won awards. But being part of Panto, was it always something that you wanted to do? And did you ever have a moment where you might have just about done it, but never quite happened?
Yeah, so many of my friends have been in Panto and they all have such a fun time. I mean, it's a very gruelling schedule, but it's so much fun. They always have such a blast. They always feel like really ready for Christmas whenever they're in Panto because it's such a fun Christmassy vibe. And they all really get into the Christmas spirit. So I've always been really, really jealous of all of my mates who've been in Panto and have always wanted to do it one day, but just never had the chance. So yeah, when Marlowe said that they'd like me to come and play Carabosse, I couldn't believe my luck. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to really properly get into the Christmas vibes in the lead up to this Christmas.
Okay, you are very used to taking on a role where you have to inhabit that character and think about who that person might be and the storyline and the plot. Tell us about this one.
Well, Carabosse is obviously the villain of this show. I'm very, very excited to play a villain for the first time. It's not only my Panto debut, it's my villain debut. So I'm very excited to be booed. But yeah, she's a not very nice person. I was asked before if she has any sort of backstory where, you know, maybe she was nice once upon a time and, you know, there's a reason that she's a villain. I think she's just bad through and through, if I'm honest. I feel like if I'm going to play a villain, I'm going to do it wholeheartedly. I'm going to go the whole hog, and she's a horrible, horrible human being.
Isn't it weird that in your other life on stage in the West End or anywhere else in the world, your hope is that no one will be heckling you from the crowd at any stage, and now you're positively encouraging it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Panto's all about, really, isn't it? It's the audience participation. It's the one sort of show where people actually get to sing along, they get to clap, they get to cheer, they get to boo, they get to shout, he's behind you. You know, I love that element of Panto, and I think it's a real chance for families to come and really let loose.
Paul Hendy and Evolution are an incredible company, and they just know how to deliver a family pantomime. Going into that world then, what have you already noticed is different perhaps to what you have been doing? And is the company feel exactly the same, or is there something different?
The first day of a new show is always really, really daunting, and even though you sort of know people, you may not have been in touch with them beforehand. You know, it's always kind of like first day of school type feelings. Whereas I think it's going to be very different with this Panto, because as soon as it was announced and all of the cast, you know, the press release went out and we all found out who we were going to be in Panto with, everyone started messaging each other. I think our excitement to be in Panto and our excitement to be part of this show kind of, it was the overriding factor. It kind of it was overriding all of the nerves that we might have for starting a new job, and suddenly I was in conversations with everyone over Instagram and over social media. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be slightly different on our first day because we already would have all been in touch and just very, very excited to get ready for Christmas.
We look at that kind of background of Panto and how it all came about, and it's so interesting how it's changed over the years, because at one stage it was kind of not even being seen by others as anything other than just a bit of fun at Christmas. Then over the years you saw it just emerge, and all of these companies saying, no, actually we're going to keep the values what everyone loves about going to a pantomime, but we also need to make sure theatrically it's brilliant. And sometimes you go to a panto, and I put the Marlowe ones completely up there as top of the tree, which is why they've won so many awards. You just suddenly go, this is like sometimes groundbreaking what they're doing, and is that something why you as a professional actor with your other actors there go, do you know, that is why I want to do that. That is why I want to be part of that as a performer, as a singer, as a entertainer.
Panto's its own art form. I feel like you've got musical theatre, you've got straight plays, and you've got Panto. It is its own thing. It's not just sort of like an amalgamation of other things, and it's not just sort of a watered down version of musical theatre. It's its own art form. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to sort of try something new. And it's so inherently British as well. That's something that I really enjoy about Panto. You know, when it was announced that I was going to be in this Panto, so many people from other countries were like, what on earth is Panto? What is pantomime? They had absolutely no idea. And so it's this really fun thing that I just think it's so British. You know, people from other countries maybe here this Christmas, I highly encourage you all to get tickets to a Panto. Maybe get tickets to musical theatre and then get tickets to a Panto so you can see how different it is and experience them both for the wonderful things that they are.
It's so great having you on the show, whether we go back to 2001 with Les Miserables right the way through to the current date and what you've been doing, and just recently with Cinderella, of course. And I know that was an interesting journey at Cinderella, a bit
really
bittersweet
was.
in some respects as well. And, but coming out of that now, just looking back at that period, I mean, it got such an interesting reaction all over the place.
It did, yeah, and doing it off the back of a pandemic, or even during the pandemic as well, it was quite the roller coaster, and it was such a hard job to do in so many respects. But the pandemic really was something that just threw so many spanners into the works and made it really, really difficult. Not only to continue doing the show when we were up and running, but just to get it up and running in the first place. So now that things are a little bit easier COVID-wise, and I'm doing something as fun as Panto, I feel like this job is going to be such a breeze.
Well, that's a lovely thing as well, I guess, for you, that you know that necessity to work so hard at any role, you know, all of those shows going right the way through. And I just wonder, what's been your way of in your career so far of keeping going? Because we know from all of our interviews with West End stars, it's relentless.
It is. And the thing that keeps you going, especially during long contracts, and especially as I found during Cinderella, where COVID was really sort of making our jobs hard because people were going down with it left, right and centre, and you didn't know if you were going to be the one to get it next and how it would affect you and how frustrating that would be not being in the theatre. It's the camaraderie. It's the people that you see every day. It's the people that you go to work with and how everyone seems to pull together during the harder times and the harder days. Because the show must go on. That's the mentality that we all have. The show must go on. And so we're all going to go out there and we're all going to do the show to the best of our ability. But some days are always going to be harder than others, especially during the last year that we've just had with the pandemic. So it's the camaraderie. It's looking forward to going in and seeing all of those wonderful people that you work with, whether they're in the cast, the crew, wardrobe, lighting, sound, wigs. It takes everyone in that building, not just the people that the audience see on stage. It's every single person that you interact with who are just brilliant human beings, and it's them, it's the people around you that get you through.
Since that period of going through the pandemic and you said the show must go on, we know that incredible campaign that was launched, you know, people were able to get the merch on the mugs and everything else and show their love for the West End Theatre and theatre across the country, including all our theatres here in Kent. Did you get a sense during that time that actually performers like yourself and others were kind of reinvigorated in a way, because it kind of, wherever you were going in your career, it kind of said, we could lose this?
Yeah, it was a terrifying thing during the pandemic to almost watch our industry crumbling. And even like all the old theatres in London as well, some of them flooded because they just weren't being used and maintained in the way that they usually were. So it was really hard being at home and just sort of thinking, what are we going to come back to? When theatre does eventually come back, how much of theatre is there going to be to come back to? Because also shows were closing as well. Some people didn't even get their last performances in those contracts because the show just wasn't there anymore. They had to close it. So yeah, when we all came back, there was a real sort of reinvigoration. We all just were so excited to be back working, regardless of what we were doing. We were just so thrilled to be in a room with other actors, to be in a rehearsal room, to be singing with each other and hearing other people harmonise with you that, you know, weren't over a Zoom call. It was the same with audiences. Our first performance of Cinderella after the pandemic, even though we were performing to sort of, I think it was like half capacity, the noise that the audience made is something that I don't think I'll ever forget, because it felt like a huge celebration of theatre. It wasn't to do with the show that we were in. It wasn't to do with anything other than the fact that we were all in one building together celebrating theatre. And it was just such a wonderful performance that I don't think I will ever forget.
So emotional these times they've been. And going back to the very beginning of your dream, your thought of being on a stage, When you go on stage now and you think back to that kid, is it just sometimes overwhelming?
It's so overwhelming because, you know, as a kid I always hoped that this is what I would be doing as an adult. This is what I always dreamed of doing, but it's such a cutthroat and fickle industry. You just never know if you're gonna be the one to make it. You never know if you're gonna be the one who actually does end up on a West End stage one day. So, you know, I get asked every now and again if I have any pinch me moments, any moments that really stand out in my career. And of course, there are some ridiculous moments where I honestly have felt like I'm dreaming. But every day in this industry, I kind of thank my lucky stars that I am getting to do this. Like, I get to dress up like this. I get to dress up like Carabosse, and I get to call this a job. It's, you know, it's such an amazing industry to be part of, and it's tough, and sometimes it is a little bit savage, but it's worth it for all of the good moments and the incredible moments and the pinch me moments that you get.
Carrie, it's been really great talking to you. We know where you're going to be this Christmas and into the new year, because you're going to be here in Kent at the Marlowe in Canterbury for Sleeping Beauty. Carrie Hope Fletcher, thanks for being part of the show tonight on BBC Radio Kent.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's lovely to speak to you.